Here with head track and field coach Michael Dunn, previewing this weekend's conference championships. Coach, maybe take a step back and recap the season for us, what you've seen from your team.
Well, again, coming into this season, I think we looked at a lot of young kids kind of being the rock at going into this season a little bit more. We had a lot of new kids, and then as any season goes, you start to get into the season and bumps and just things that are out of our control happen, and then we end up with fewer of those kids that we were expecting to have. And I think the expectations of this season was that we wanted to have our kids coming back who've had some great experiences and some good quality success. So somebody like a Keegan Rich or Sarah Pressler, to really go forward with that and kind of piggyback off of last year's successes. They definitely have done that tenfold. They've both PR'd in different events. They've both really started to look to form towards the end of the season in different ways. Keegan started to take on a lot more events, and I think that's something where you guys will see a lot more of something in that realm in the future. And I think he's taken on that role really well for the guys' team. Losing a Stephon Prince is a big deal, and Keegan has done a lot to try to just do it himself, and it's not, you can't do it yourself. But we've had some kids like Dylan Kennedy step up this year big time as a freshman, and as far as just our women's side, Marissa Voss has come around. And you look at some of the seniors too, it's not all about, I think a lot of kids get caught up in the times and marks too, but we have one of our seniors, Dalton Huander, he's dropped a lot of time in some different events. And he's not going to be the guy that's going to go out there and win, an event, but he's going to go out there and give everything he can. And he's come a long way from year one that he was in this program to right now too. So even for him, I think this is a special weekend for him too.
It seems like Jake and Keegan just keep breaking their own records every weekend, and women continue to add their names to the top 10. What has impressed you the most about that group?
Honestly, I think it's the fight that these kids have. Like I said, coming into the season, it wasn't like we were expecting to blow the doors off in the conference meet or, push a lot of different events. And right now, we're in a lot of different events that I think we can do well in. I knew that these student athletes can, with work and dedication and all that stuff, they can get after it and drop times and hit marks harder. But they've done a lot to get to where they are, and I think it's spread with the group that we have. Even though we have a small group, that whole group is kind of clung on to that, our team motto, elevate. They've clung on to that, and they all understand that, hey, if we want to get better, we have to work hard too. And it might not, like I said, be that number one mark or number one time in the conference, but they're all getting better. And so for even our top end kids like Jake and Keegan who are doing that, there's kids behind the scenes that are pushing them, or that those kids that aren't maybe breaking the school record marks, they're breaking their own marks, and Keegan and Jake, I think, get excited about that too. And I know Jake is definitely wanting to do some more special things this weekend, and Keegan wants to get that triple back. So it's fun to have that on the team for sure.
You return 2 all-conference performers in Keegan and Marissa, and I believe you have 2 of the top marks on the women's side and 3 on the men's side. So what are you looking for them to do this weekend?
I think just you got to take it one event and one day at a time. Saturday is so close, but so far away from right now too. There's a couple finals in that first day on Friday, and a couple first events for those kids on Friday. I know like the mile is like the first event. We got some guys and girls that really want to have some success in those events. I think the high jump is the first day as well, and I know Marissa really wants to be able to peak tomorrow. So I think that's another thing. A really fun story is that Marissa's jumping with her dad now for high jump, and I think that's one of the coolest stories we have just as a program this year, is that her dad was a high jumper, and She in high school, she didn't high jump a lot because her dad, everybody kind of thought, oh, you're too short. Well, she came here, she started working at it a couple of years, she started getting really good at it. Her dad comes here and says, hey, like, I'd love to, coach you too. And I think, for her to try to go for 5+ feet tomorrow and have her dad there, no matter the result, it's a pretty fun experience for that to be kind of the way that her, track and field career's kind of, I would say, culminating. And so that's been fun.
How will you measure success on the weekend?
I think as the season's gone, it's very much been, they've set the standard higher than we, I think, going into the season said, okay, we've got a bunch of kids that need to learn, and be educated this year and kind of go through the experiences and get some bumps and bruises. But they've set the bar a little higher in different areas, and so somebody like a Ryan McHugh, who has improved a lot from last year to this year in some events and taken on a role where, hey, like, I want to be able to be an all-conference kid. Jakin in the same way. You move to the women's side, and Gabby wants to have a really great throw this weekend too, and she's had great throws before, and so that she can do that. I think a success this weekend would definitely be, it's no lie that we want to hang a banner or two for individual championships, but we definitely also want each individual to put their best effort, and we as coaches will know and see that, from their faces when they're out there, not giving up during a race if it's a longer race. You can tell that a lot more. Not getting in their head after one event because they got to move on to that next event. It's a unique sport when you've got a huge mental component that is kind of immersed into each event, and I think that's something that just because they win one event and it's first day, hey, you got to come back down. We got another event to do. We got more to do as a team. Or, you go out the back door on that first event, or you don't perform the way that you want to perform. You don't get that PR, whatever it is. That's okay. That's part of it. If Usain Bolt PR'd every time, the 100-meter dash record would be under 6 seconds. So I think that's something that, as coaches, we just want to see this weekend a body of work of what they've worked on, and kind of minimize the mistakes or maybe just the things that we've tried to tweak throughout the year. And each individual has just a different tweak that we've been working on. So we just want to see them to put together the highest efficiency of their event. We talk a little bit about if they don't PR in like a long jump, for instance, their runway might have been great, their speed might have been great, their board might have been fantastic, and they actually might have gotten great height on their jump, but their finish was poor. They did 4 out of 5 things great. Like 80% is not bad, but it's not going to get you a PR. Same thing for a mile race. That's you've got over 8 laps that you're doing, just a tad over 8 laps, and if 7.5 of those laps are great, you still might not have that time you're looking for. So it's just about understanding that there's so many components that go into a PR or an all-conference performance or a championship performance, and so for them to just put it together as much as they can and try to go for that 100%, which I think every athlete does. I think that's what we're looking for success.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.